I'm Lisa Pickering, and welcome to CITV's Press Talk. Here's the most recent news and information from the government of Bermuda.
Members of the media, good morning, and thank you for coming. All of us know the name of someone directly impacted by gun violence or some form of gang-related, antisocial, or criminal action. In 2009, the human cost of this kind of crime has been all too great. Since 2009, the human cost of this type of crime has been great. Our society has been traumatized by the death and social upheaval created by the prevalence of what some have termed the gang lifestyle. This government promised the people of Bermuda that we will give reducing gang violence the priority that it deserves. Since July, I have been focused on that goal. Every morning at 9 a.m., I chair a meeting of the ministry team engaged in the programs around gang violence and the reduction of the same. And every day we focus on a portion of that strategy and to find out how we can better develop and isolate those areas that need greater attention. In just 11 weeks, the Ministry of National Security team has responded well to the challenge that I issued when I was first appointed. It was necessary to build the work that had been done and in some cases sharpen the focus of existing programs and resources to produce measurable outcomes. In our first 60 days, we have committed to an internal review of current programs and initiatives. We have relaunched the Interagency Gang Task Force. We have stabilized Team Street Safe with much needed financial support. We have relaunched the Coordinated Crisis Response Team to ensure a clear response to any incident. We have implemented the Interfaith Working Group, launched with a multi-denominational meeting, and last month we supported and implemented the Moms on a Mission, a support group for mothers directly affected by gun violence. This is just the beginning. As a team, we have determined that the core goals and objectives of our work in this area, and we intend to measure ourselves by these goals, and we have committed to delivering them to the people of Bermuda. These goals are as follows. We aim to change the pattern of behavior of individuals involved in group and gang violence and reintegrate them back into mainstream society. 2, we are determined to prevent our young people from joining gangs and engaging in antisocial behavior. We will reconnect at-risk youth with the men and women with the necessary helping agencies that will aid in addressing mental health and social issues, and most importantly, we will create opportunities for employment for our young people and others who have been previously deemed unemployable because of their past. The team that I found in place was essentially a two-man team, and both of whom were devoted an enormous amount of their time and talent to the task at hand. In keeping with the promise made in our first 100-day platform, I have determined to strengthen that team and to broaden the reach of our initiatives by engaging Pastor Leroy Bean as the promised Gang Violence Reduction Coordinator. Pastor Bean has 20 years experience working with gangs in Bermuda and has been the residential care officer within the former Department of Social Services. He holds degrees in family and addiction counseling, and he has committed himself to working within communities affected by gang violence. Through his efforts, many young men have chosen better paths for their lives, and he will make an important addition to the ministry's team. As we promised in our first 100 Days platform, Pastor Bean's singular focus will be on implementing programs to reduce gang violence and antisocial behavior. He will lead in those areas designed to engage various aspects of our community, including clergy, local employers, all with a goal of transforming young men and women away from the gang lifestyle with viable social and economic alternatives. As I invite Pastor Bean to say a few words, I wish to reiterate that Pastor Bean joins a committed team who have been in the trenches working on these issues. His appointment is our aim to strengthen and to go from strength to strength with this process. Thank you.
My hopes while in this position is to see a more comprehensive and a holistic approach. This is to tackle the maladaptive behavior that has plagued our country for years. Yet at the same time, seeing many of those that have been affected by the racial divide, the economic disparity, and the disenfranchisement to be empowered so that they can actually be in a better position to combat this social ill. With the help of Bermuda, we can conquer this problem. And I believe, when I say the help of Bermuda, I believe that each one of us play a part in everything that will be done. It's not going to be one organization or one part. Each one of us have a part to play. Whether it be Bermudian or resident, we all have a part to play. And I believe that we come together as one and start to work together to conquer this problem. We're going to see Bermuda come out of this slump that we've been in for the last 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Let's go to the sticky part first, since we have all these recent news headlines on how much more cabinet and appointments cost. Do you care to discuss that part of this?
Minister Bean, our gang violence reduction coordinator, Reverend Leroy Bean, has been hired on a 1-year contract. We've looked around at best practices. We've looked and we've seen what comparable people have been paid in the private and in the public sector, and his salary is approximately $92,000 per annum.
And what do you say to the criticism regarding, and this wasn't during, I believe it was during the former administration, which you were not a part of, the controversial contract regarding, what was it, White's Island?
Oh, I have no comment on that, ma'am.
Okay. Is Reverend Bean taking any questions? Good morning.
Good morning, Chief.
As the minister stated, it's taken big human toll. There is a direct link or correlation to disparity, but to the average Joe Blow who wants to know, what do you bring to the table to actually get something done? Because there's been a lot of lip service on this issue over the years, and no disrespect, there is a growing sentiment in this community that if it was white boys getting shot, something would have been done a long time ago.
Well, I believe that I bring to the table actually the experience, also one that has been affected by the gang violence. Not just one that I would say that is affected from looking from the outside, but I've had family members, killed. I've had family members that have been shot and wounded. And so to me, it's something that's personal to see this this epidemic being stamped out.
Ms. Wilson, to your point,
Yes.
I reject the concept of if it were white boys, you'll see something done. And let me tell you why I reject it. This is a something that has plagued our community. And as a community, we have to hold each other accountable. And so when we look at it from that perspective, let me say this. When we see our sons, we have to hold them accountable. Yes, we're very willing to hold the rest of society accountable, but this is something that we have to do. We have to introspect. We have to look at, and Mr. Pastor Bean is going to be developing a holistic approach. But we're not going to allow the country to get away from our responsibility. These are our sons. And we as a community, we have to work together to find a solution. Too long have we pointed the finger at everyone else. Yeah. That is no longer acceptable. Let me tell you what we want to do together with this country. We want to reach down into the interfaith community as is planned. And we want to get the interfaith community to go out in this community and say, these are the things that we need to do. Many of the things are already being done. We started something called Moms on a Mission. We took the moms, and there are over 50 of them that have lost their sons, and we put them in a situation where in a room, and every Thursday they meet, and they can help each other get through the crisis with the helping agencies. What am I saying? I'm saying for very long we've sat back in the comfort, and we call ourselves Monday morning gaffers or Monday morning coaches. When we have all the answers, what we're saying differently is that this is a community problem. We're not going to place this on the white community. We're not going to place this on the business elite. This is a community problem. This is a country problem. And together we can fix that.
but you will agree it's affected primarily the black community, and with regards to a holistic approach without singling any one individual out. You know that there are several households that have sons who ply drugs by trade,
Yes.
and the house benefits from the money.
You continue to go down the same path. And the path that you're going down is the path that will never lead us to finding solutions. In Bermuda, we all understand the nuances of living in a country with a significant racial divide. My position is that that has given safe harbinger, that has given us solace in not doing what is necessary to help our community. I'm saying we have identified that as being a part of the problem. This is a little different. We're saying that we know what's wrong in our country, but let's start to work internally in our communities to fix it.
Good morning to both.
Morning.
Pastor Bean, could I start with you if that's appropriate? Maybe to begin with, I'm wondering what you see as the biggest obstacle that you are going to be faced with in this new role that you've taken on.
I guess one of the biggest obstacles is getting people to understand the dynamics that make up the mindset of those that are participating in this antisocial behavior. I think having understanding the mindset equips us to better deal with the problem.
Mr. Caines said that you're currently on a one-year contract in this role. Are there any specific initiatives or timelines that you could speak to as to what you hope to accomplish within this 1 year?
Well, right now it's a little bit too early for me to make a comment there.
Sure.
Thanks.
Measuring success in this position, will this be primarily about keeping incidents of violence down, or what other measures will be used to weigh your success in this position?
As I said, it is new to me, so I'm still actually, just looking at things. But one thing that I do hope is to see the cycle of gang violence, or just violence in general, reduced within a 5-year to 7-year period. And I think this can happen by us reaching back to our young people, and retraining to let them know, in spite of your situation, that there is hope and that you still could be successful regardless of what type of environment you're in.
Paul, further to your question?
Yes, please. As to measures,
So
or as to
one of the challenges that we face in our society, I think our last gang or gun-related murder in Bermuda took place around the 20th of July.
right.
Yes? And so we are looking, and as a country, we want to give numbers. We will not have any more gang activity, and we will see a decrease. But again, to go to the approach that we're employing, we believe that this is going to take some work to re-educate our kids in the primary and the middle schools. We believe that we're going to have to develop different modalities of thinking. It is a part of the plan to work at finding the young men that are disenfranchised, that are finding themselves apathetic, finding them legitimate opportunities for employment. And so oftentimes we want to take the social elements of the country, in other words, the black versus the white community, without understanding the key and constituent parts. We believe the key and constituent parts to antisocial behavior are challenges around employment, challenges around finding their voice in our society, feeling that you are connected with the persons in our society, social challenges, mental health challenges. And so what we're trying to do is connect all of those pieces together, put all of those pieces together in a holistic approach. We have been working with John Jay University, and they've put together some plans. As you heard in the first part of our speech, we have looked at some things, getting the gang task force reinitiated, the Moms on a Mission. So this is a holistic approach. Pastor Bean is a part of our team and a part of the puzzle. So to ask him in absentia of his colleagues, in absentia of seeing the whole plan, you don't see the best of him and you don't see the best of the plan. Ultimately, how we touch this community is by making the community whole. Mm-hmm. And we believe that this is a process. It will not happen overnight. We do believe in having quantifiable data. We do believe in having measurable elements that we can govern this by, but we do not want to set the false expectation of we will see this drop by 6 murders in 6 weeks. That is the wrong way about going about this. And I hope I just shed some light in the modality of which we plan to take this through.
You've been watching Press Talk right here on CITV. Join us next time for your government's news and information. I'm Lisa Pickering.